When I got into cybersecurity, things were somewhat less complicated. The industry was not really commonly known, spoken of, and it was not really as marked out and kind of well defined as it is right now. The industry also was not so massive and so broad, and there were not really that many educational resources out there. You see, for people who have been in the cybersecurity or information security world for a while now, the reality is that it's either there was some sort of educational component involved, but there were a few other factors that actually let one stumble about into the world of InfoSec, or commonly known back then as IT security. You see, right now we're sitting on a massive term coined cybersecurity. I mean, cybersecurity is an industry term really used outside of the industry on marketing materials, on kind of documentation. But anyone that works inside of the security team, speaking to other IT professionals, talks of it as, I work in security, I work in InfoSec, I work in IT security. You don't really say like, I work in cybersecurity, unless you're speaking to someone who's not in security at all. That's when you use the big coin term of cybersecurity. Now, when I got into security, there were a few factors at play here. Of course, education, as one does. When you need to move into an industry, you need to have the right level of education. But more so, when it comes to security specifically, the education landscape is not necessarily what is the defining scope or the defining component that allows you to move into the industry. For me, what was the most defining factors were the networking I did in organizations where I got opportunities, whether it be in my role in the field support engineering role that I had, or in the endpoint support role that I had. It was about networking and uncovering who I can speak to learn more about something. The next thing was mentorship. Mentorship, having a mentor, being someone's mentor has been what has dramatically changed my career every single step of the way. I was fortunate enough to have mentors that inside of the organizations where I worked, they were hell-bent on getting me to move into different spaces even before I thought I was ready, and that had a tremendous impact on my career as a whole, and that has inspired me to build so many things along the way to help other people as I continued my journey. The next thing was about community. So I joined various forums, various community platforms to evolve as a cybersecurity professional. These were as simple as joining various LinkedIn learning groups. These groups helped me. I engaged in these groups. I made new connections in these groups, and we then would connect with each other and follow each other and communicate more and more on LinkedIn. They would share resources. I would learn from these resources. It was a fantastic experience, and this was just with random people on LinkedIn that were pursuing the same direction as I was, that was on the same journey as I was, and that was absolutely fantastic for my career at the time. Now, for me, the evolution was sort of a real roadmap, starting from where I did formal education, so a general degree in information technology. From there, I struggled. Okay, I struggled to get my foot in the door just with an IT role. Like, I just wanted an IT support role after that, but I really struggled to get my foot in the door. But here I had no network. I didn't know how to set up a proper resume. I didn't know how to do any of that. This was little old me going to go and sit in a cafe and apply for as many jobs as I could at the time, hoping one sticks. I remember being called for an interview to join this company as a receptionist, and I was so eager to go and get the job as a receptionist because I just felt like if I can get a job, any job, then I can get my foot in the door with an organization to possibly give me the opportunity to then network internally and move into the IT team of that organization. These were hectic days, okay? From there, I didn't get the receptionist job, Merely because I was actually brutally honest and saying that I don't plan to spend a lot of time in this role. Like, I plan to get my foot in the door and move on. And that was not really what they were looking for at that point. So it didn't work out. But in hindsight, I mean, I'm glad I did not take up an opportunity that wasn't aligned with my technical skills and abilities and ambitions, because that would not have been for me. That would have been a disaster. I did, though, get the next interview as a field support engineer, and this was really the opening door for me. I have another video on here where I talk a lot about my journey from field support to cloud security architecture now, so you can go and check that out. But really, what the most critical thing for me was that the job application process at the time taught me a lot. So I learned a lot by applying for hundreds of jobs and then finally getting this one role, that there was so much more to it. There was so much more to this application process that I didn't consider. There was so much more to skilling requirements that I didn't consider. And with that, I had always found myself wishing and hoping that I would have had someone, a group, a community, something that could help me along on my path to getting this. So that was still field support, but how I moved over into the security space was when I went for the next job interview after that role. I had gone into the interview saying that I want to learn something new. I'm really keen and interested in networking, and I really just want to experience something new. So if they do employ me in the specific IT support team, then it might be that I want to explore options and learn more about networking and their networking team. And for me, it was having the courage to ask that type of question, even though you're in an interview for a specific role. You know, I was really determined to figure out what's the growth, what's the next step, what can I do? And that is what really unlocked the opportunity for me, because before I went for that interview, I had spoken to someone on LinkedIn and I had asked for interview advice, and if I don't really want the IT support role but I want a networking job, they gave me great advice and kind of mentored me through that interviewing questions that I am able to ask and that I should be confident in asking the questions, because this is my career. The company will benefit just as much as I will benefit, you know, the usual. So that really helped me. And as I think of the journey and as I walk myself through every step of the way and my mindset every step of the way, the reality that I come to is that in every role that I pivoted into that elevated my career, there was a well-placed mentor along my journey. I remember being in a large insurance corporation in South Africa, and I was employed as a firewall engineer, but I ended up doing a whole lot more security things. It was super technical. I mean, I was into the nitty-gritties of configurations, working on firewall backends, making networks work together securely, writing rules for access control. I mean, I was doing the things. They had employed a new information security manager at the time, and I remember when I heard him speak in meetings, I just thought, oh wow, like he has so much knowledge, like it blows my mind. Here I am doing basic configuration. Yeah, it's important. Of course, it was very important. If I did a rule wrong, the entire network would go down. But it really inspired me how much knowledge he had. And he gave me a tough time. Like, he gave me such a hard time in the job, and now it's like he's new and he's giving me a tough time, and I could have seen that in a very different way, but the experience for me was so different. He pushed me to learning so much more. I remember vividly him asking me the question, so you're a security engineer but you don't know much about security other than configuring firewalls and building secure networks, but why are you building these networks? What are you protecting? What are you trying to do? Like, how are you responding to CIA, confidentiality, integrity, and availability while you're building these networks? And that was such a pivotal moment for me. It was the moment that actually made me pivot into security, even though I was already a network security engineer. But that moment made me pivot as an information security professional. It was that moment that made me want to further this journey of security, it was that moment that made me move away from vendor-based certifications, because yeah, at this stage I had done a lot of the certifications for the technologies that I was supporting. For example, I happened to be a checkpoint firewalling guru, and I had done the complete levels of checkpoint certification. I don't even know what the highest levels are right now today, but I did the highest levels at the time, and I was real guru in this space. Still, that made me know how to configure a platform securely, how to configure a product securely, but it did not make me a well-rounded security professional. And so there was my challenge. And this person who is a friend, a mentor, someone that inspires me up until this day, really changed my life with one single line. And so from there, I mean, the rest is history. That is the pivotal moment in which I decided to actually go and pursue security as kind of a more advanced level career. So I went to do Security Plus. I ended up doing so many cyber risk management training courses. I did security architecture training courses, certifications, and then ultimately did my CISSP. That moment, from a mentor and a person in the industry who helped build my career, was absolutely massive. I can continue this journey on for a while, but there's 3 components that or maybe 4, let's see, components that I need you to remember here. Is that education is only one component. Experience is another component. Experience and skills will help you. Experience is what gets you skills. It doesn't have to be working experience. It can be any experience of you building stuff, but this experience is what gets you the skills. Then you have to have a network. You have to have a community. You have to have people who are in the industry who you can ask questions to, or people who are trying to get into the industry that you can ask questions to. And then having a mentor or having multiple mentors that have different personalities, different styles, different ways of inspiring you and motivating you and helping you to grow and helping to push you out of your comfort zone is so crucial. It was one of the most pivotal things in my career. So what really helped me to thrive was the networking, the mentorship, and the community building. And with that is what inspired me to create this entire platform, the entire Cyber Queen platform, the entire Cybersecurity Besties community. What has also inspired me, in fact, this just recently, to launch the Cybersecurity Besties community. Now, if you don't know, if you haven't seen the newsletters, if you haven't seen almost everywhere where I am talking about the journey to building the Cybersecurity Besties community, I am so proud that I am at a stage now to launch this community, because this is a community that is built for what I know I needed to thrive in my career as a cybersecurity professional. In the security industry, it is definitely about who you know in the industry, who can help you, how big your network is, or how small but valuable your network is. It is about being able to ask questions back and forth to people who are doing the same thing as you. It is about connecting with other like-minded professionals and learning from each other. The industry is so vast that no one has the same learning path and way into the industry. And this is what the Cybersecurity Besties community is all about. Of course, I have built a knowledge base galore into the platform. I've documented my first 7 steps of getting into security, into this platform. I have just built what I think, and I'm very proud of, is a place where like-minded professionals can come in many different levels. So you can come if you have absolutely no knowledge and experience. This is the community for you that can help you really get past that foundational stage of not knowing what on earth you have to do. Then if you started but you have very little knowledge, or you just did one foundational certification or certificate program, you can get into the community and figure out exactly what it is that you have to do next. Especially if you are lost, you don't know how to do it. If you're trying to pivot, you don't know how to do it, this community is for you. It's so dear to my heart. But if you are in the industry and you are in a job, but you are stuck, you have kind of a toxic manager, a toxic team, maybe you have a work environment that you don't really like, but you don't know how to get out of that space, this community is for you. It is a supportive community where we all share our thoughts, our knowledge, our experiences. You comment and ask me questions, I ask you questions. We have live sessions together, we have study with me sessions together. I'm so passionate about this community, and if you are looking for a community, then definitely consider joining this community. It is so worth it for the people already in the community. It's so worth it for me to see all of you going on this journey and just getting further ahead in your cybersecurity career. I'm really proud of this community. So if that's something you want to do, if that's something you're interested in, definitely check out the community. You can join, you can cancel at any time, whatever it is for you, do it. And if it's not for you, that is totally fine. This is an option if you have been having these thoughts, feelings, and you are kind of stuck or struggling in your journey. Yeah, so I think for me, finally, some of the final things is you can do as much education in cybersecurity as you think. You can have 10 certifications behind your name. If you don't have the next added steps, then it's going to be very difficult for you either to find the job in the industry or to thrive in the industry. And those next steps are the right skills or experience, a good network, a good community, and some really good mentors in the industry. This will really be what absolutely gets you to different levels in the industry and what helps you to thrive. Alright friends, I really hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it helpful and valuable. If you want to check out the Cybersecurity Besties community, all the links and details will be down below. Feel free to check it out, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye!